One of these things that occurred to me in the last year or so, and I'm going to get into politics like a little bit, but it's more about the politics that I sort of talk about in The Magician. So it's not, we're not going to go talking about issues necessarily. There's this kind of cool parallel that I realized, I was scrolling Twitter or something and I came across a video and it's showing a visual representation of, they look like little machines, and evidently these are these little machines that walk up and down your strand of DNA looking for errors. So it's like you've got this like 90%, and again, I don't know what the actual percentage is, but let's say it's 90%. I like 90-10 because it does sort of correspond with the yin-yang, where you've got 90%'s the main body of the thing, but then you have its counterpart that's they each contain the other within them. So we've got this little 10%, maybe 20 of this object that contains its counterpart. So let's say 90% of the DNA is the DNA. It's doing DNA things, but then there's this 10% that's literally just walking up and down this DNA chain molecule, and it's crazy to watch, man. It's like, holy crap. How does nature do this? It's just miraculous looking. It's because there's at different levels of analysis, there's these crazy worlds down there, whether you're talking about cells, atoms, whatever. Looking at this DNA strand and this crazy like little being, I guess, walking up and down, like it's literally walking up and down the DNA strand, checking for errors. And then I start thinking about, that's kind of like our immune systems too, because 90% of our body is doing body things. It's the structure. And then you've got this other percentage, maybe it's 10%, that's your immune system, which is literally just swimming around in your blood looking for errors or corruption. And, this was something that was really clear to me when I was doing the Magician video, when I was trying to talk about politics in terms of traditionalists and futurists. So we have the on the micro scale of the actual physical blueprints of humanity, all organic beings. You've got this body and its immune system sort of relationship. And then that's the cellular DNA. And then on the human scale of our bodies, we have physical bodies and then this immune system that's a collective that's roaming around looking for corruption and errors. But then on the social level, we have traditionalists and futurists, and they're performing the same function, which is just crazy to me. You have traditionalists who are the body, they're the structure, they're hopefully constructing hierarchies of competence, and then you have these futurists or liberals, or however you want to think about them, walking up and down the hierarchy looking for errors and corruption. Or when any system that is trying to maximize the natural self-correcting mechanisms of nature will allow for that 90-10 relationship to exist and to thrive, and so that the 90% of let's say traditionalists can't start hating on the 10% of these futurists who are really just trying to keep the thing from becoming corrupt. Because and there's an interesting relationship between the big five personality traits in this issue too, because traditionalists generally are going to be higher in conscientiousness, and the futurists are going to be higher in openness. And they're also going to be disagreeable because they have to be able to feel comfortable enough to criticize or point out the errors, break down the borders and bring the new thing out that's not in the tradition. You're out there looking for the new thing that's going to help increase the harmony. And the new thing might be just realizing like, oh wait, this system is horribly corrupt. And so it is kind of interesting. It's like, this 90% of traditionalists really need some immune-like response from a party that's disengaged with the concern for boundaries, borders, and order. Just that relationship between the order of the traditionalists and the chaos of the futurists is just kind of cool. Yeah, and they keep each other in check. It's pretty wild, man. And the fact that, this is working on a molecular level, on the level of human beings, and then on the level of the collective in such a clear, obvious way is just beautiful. I mean, it's wild.